The Deus absconditus, literally the hidden God, is a theological concept describing a deity who deliberately obscures their presence from humanity. If a creator wanted to preserve human free will, they would need to ensure the universe remained devoid of any undeniable evidence of their existence. But this creates a problem. If a mortal scholar managed to construct a flawless, logically airtight proof of a divine creator using only earthly observations, how would a God who wants to stay hidden respond? The philosopher George Bealer spent his career examining rational intuitions. These are fundamental societal truisms, ideas that simply feel necessarily true to the human mind, without requiring a formal experiment to prove them. In 1982, a philosophical legend emerged at Reed College that took these deeply held intuitions and turned them into a trap. The argument uses innocent common proverbs as inescapable logical premises. By relying on phrases society already accepts as true, the proof forces the listener into a corner using their own vocabulary. Decoding this logic reveals a strategy a creator would use to vanish into the background, leaving only a faint trace where a proof used to stand. This diagram starts with a premise that was a bedrock cultural truism in 1982. God protects fools and drunks. Next, we add a second premise to build our syllogism, a form of reasoning where two established facts lead to a third. That premise is the common proverb, "A fool and his money are soon parted." The logic follows a clear path. Once the money is gone, the fool can no longer afford to drink. Poverty eventually forces a state of sobriety and caution. This ends their status as a fool or drunk, and because they no longer fit the description in our first premise, the divine protection ends. If the protection vanishes the moment the wallet is empty, then money was the mechanism of protection all along. If money provides the protection attributed to the divine, then money is God. And since currency clearly exists, the logic dictates that God must exist. This is a sophism, a clever, plausible argument that is used to deceive or challenge an audience. It was intentionally submitted to the Vatican in 2001 as a theological provocation. The goal was to highlight a materialist society's implicit idolatry of Mammon, a biblical term for wealth and the pursuit of riches. It suggests that modern society has simply swapped the divine for the dollar. This syllogism leaves no middle ground. You must either accept a blasphemous reality where wealth is a deity, or find a way to break the logic of the proverbs themselves. How does a hidden God escape a logical trap without simply striking down the logician? Bealer proposed the concept of shifting consciousness. This is the idea that the best way to hide a truth is to change the way the public perceives the very language used to describe it. Consider the current status of that first premise: God protects fools and drunks. While it was common in 1982, it has almost entirely disappeared from our collective vocabulary. By striking through that first premise, the entire structure of the proof falls apart. Bealer argued a deity wishing to remain unproven would simply edit the cultural dictionary, making the required language sound dated until the logic has no place to stand. The most effective way to bury a truth isn't to hide the evidence, but to make the language used to find it sound obsolete. Society's collective amnesia regarding this proverb isn't an accident. It is the final proof by redaction, the invisible fingerprint of a God who covers his